Alright, we're gonna give a tour of the garden real quick. There's the dog. Being lazy. Then again, he's old. Alright, so here's more of our traditional garden. We actually had planted this one first. And we won't be doing this style again. But it's not completely traditional. Normally you just sow like in flats. Like the corn. The corn really needs to be in flats. We're choosing, it's a book by Steve Solomon, so we started with his method where you have the hills that are 4 foot across. Then they're a foot wide for the walking area, and then 4 foot, and then 1 foot. And then you can walk in the little 1 foot gap so you don't trample on the roots. It's a really good method if you're growing more of a traditional style, but it's not as effective and it takes more time, just like a regular garden. So anyways, so this is what we started with. These are our carrots. We stagger planted these. So some of these are older, some of these are younger. They're about 4 inches tall and they've already been thinned. And then here we have our broccoli. That are looking pretty good. And here we have, I believe these are black seeded lettuce, and we have more lettuce up there, but these black seeded lettuce are doing pretty good. They've already been thinned. This has just been planted with chamomile. There's some more lettuce, and then here's our Walla Wallas. We're going to uncover these actually pretty soon. Those are all tomatoes. Here's some spinach. Here is our red Russian kale. And then we get a plant over there still. We're going to stagger some more lettuce since it grows really well. Lettuce and carrots will pretty much grow in anything. So now we're going to go over to the raised beds. Not just raised beds, but square foot gardening. There's a slight difference because you can do a raised bed and still plant in rows. So while I move this water for our potatoes, I'll tell you about the potatoes. The last time I posted pictures of tomatoes is when I started them. And what we did is we buried the bottom few inches of dirt, not just dirt, good dirt, you know, compost, garden soil, not just random dirt from your yard. And then we put the seed potatoes in, and then we covered them. And then you want to mulch them, like with straw. As you can see the straw, you want to mulch them. And then as they grow, like these, you bury them. So when they get really tall, like this, over 4 inches, you want to bury them up to about 2 inches to the top of the plant. And you just keep doing this all the way up. And as you see, these, they only have a couple more inches to go, and they're already, you know, completely out of the thing. This one over there is full, actually. So that's pretty much it. And then once you fill them up, you leave them, and then supposedly you wait till these leaves die. When these turn color and they die, the potatoes are ready. Then you just dump the garbage can out, and then you harvest all the potatoes. Next to them we have a grape as a baby, and we're actually gonna spread it out that way, and that way we'll move the potatoes. Then over here we have our compost pile. We're actually gonna build a couple more cages, so we have a 3-stage system. So we have one that's in the beginning stage, and then that will move over to the middle one, which will be the middle of the stage, and then we'll have the other one that's working on being a finished compost. And right in there, it's hard to see, but there's a little a thornless blackberry. All right, so quickly, we'll go through the square foot garden. So the raised bed, and you mark them off in a square foot. And then you actually don't just put regular dirt. In fact, you don't even put garden soil. It's a special blend. It's a third compost, a third vermiculite, and a third peat moss. And when you do this, you can overstack plants. As you can see, the spinach, this is all this is actually 2 square feet. And because you control the soil and you control the water, you control everything, you can put more plants. For instance, carrots, the problem with row gardening is you can plant carrots every 4 inches, but the rows have to be like 12 inches apart. So that's 1 square foot. So if you have carrots here that are 4 inches apart, you can get about 3 carrots here. But then the next row of carrots has to be way over here. So you'd only technically get about 3 carrots. But with this method, there's actually 9 carrots in here. So you get more yield out of this method than regular row gardening. And you get no weeds. Maybe 1 or 2 weeds. And no moles. But moving on. So here we have carrots, that's pak choi. Then we have dill and chamomile. More lettuce, there's 1 red Russian kale. A mixed lettuce, marigold. Then we have French marigolds and African marigolds. Those are specifically used. Those have been known to have better results than regular marigolds, but their roots actually give off a pesticide that controls pests. Then here we have it. That's a black cherry tomato. That's a chocolate cherry tomato. That's a yellow pear tomato. And then we have chocolate mint. These beds from the old pictures were pretty much all black. There wasn't anything in them. Here we have all strawberries, African marigold, eggplant, more marigolds. I'm going to put sugar snap peas right there. I'll get to these tomatoes in a second. And then we have the green bed. So this is pretty much all lettuce, all spinach and arugula, pretty much. African marigold, more lettuce, and back there is spinach, and then right there, that's all nasturtiums. Those are all edible flowers. The flowers have pollen in them, so they're somewhat sweet, and then the leaves are actually spicy. You can actually chop them up, and they're kind of a jalapeno substitute. So the tomatoes are actually, we start them and grow them in this red mulch. So they have red mulch on the bottom, and Cisco does a method where he puts them in a regular short kind of tomato cage. Then he puts the same red mulch all the way around it. And this has been proven scientifically by universities to yield you 20% more fruit. So we do this as a start, and now they're ready to change. So then we're gonna either use a single stem method or a V method, and then just go up this pole. There'll be a pole that goes across and then a pole that goes down. And then they're going to be a nylon string, because the nylon string won't decompose. And then you just wrap the tomato around the string. Or if you have a net, you can use the V method, where one goes this way and another one goes this way. But you have to control it by trimming the suckers. So that's pretty much it where the garden is. We also have a pear tree right over there that has been grafted. So it actually has like 4 pear trees on one, and they all pollinate each other. So it's like a whole pear orchard in one tree. And then right here will be our ducks, which will control our pests and mosquitoes and slugs and give us eggs and sometimes meat.